Both of us are very young fellas, right? I'm 25, you're 20, 22? Yeah,
Yep.
22. And so we are barely getting started. I think this is an endless journey, in my opinion. And we are like scratching the surface of the cybersecurity ocean. And yeah, I want to talk a little bit about what were some of the first struggles you faced when it comes to, okay, so cybersecurity is huge. It's impossible to be an expert at everything. So how did you decide to focus more, let's say, pen testing or red teaming or the offensive side? What were the things that were behind those decisions? You know what I mean? So what inspired you to go to that route, and what were other challenges you might have faced at the time?
Sure. So I think for me it was more. It wasn't necessarily that I saw the whole cybersecurity landscape
Okay.
and thought, oh, I want to do pen testing. It
Okay.
was more of I saw pen testing and I was like, oh,
Right.
that looks like fun.
All right.
Let me do that. And then after I got into that kind of job role, I kind of realized that there was other things to security besides breaking things. There was
Yeah.
actually people that needed to like defend the systems I was breaking into.
That's so
Um,
funny.
so yeah, that kind of like opened my eyes, like, oh, there's other things you can do besides, pen testing.
Yeah.
But I think one of the things that that really confused me was there's especially on Twitter, there's a lot of people who talk about the offensive side of things. So you
Yeah.
kind of get a different view of how the actual world works if you're just looking at it through Twitter.
Yeah.
When I first started, I was like, oh, okay, so the only thing that's important is like finding 0 days and stuff like that, when
Yeah.
in reality it's more of keep your systems up to date, have an inventory of your hardware, do all like the fundamentals, and then
sure.
you don't have to worry about the next Log4j or the next SolarWinds or whatever the new hot Twitter trend is.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that because my experience was exactly the same. So I was already in the mindset of breaking things. When you're working on quality assurance, you're trying to find some bugs or trying to find some like things that applications shouldn't be doing, or trying to fuzz some stuff. And when I found out that you could be doing that, but with the security mindset, that's what got to me. And when I discovered pen testing, I didn't even have a Twitter at the time, and it was like the same experience. When I found pen testing, I started to discovering like the other stuff that cybersecurity has to offer, and that's where I got a little bit lost, because I was like, oh, there's so much stuff to learn. But I
Right.
decided to go to that route just because of that, because I thought that that would be a lot of fun, and that would require me to learn pretty much every day. Is that something that excites you, that tomorrow you can just go through something that you never faced before and you have to like dig into it and discover new things? Is that something that gets you excited to work every day on this field?
Yeah, I
That's an
think so.
obvious question, right? I'm sorry.
No, it's one of those things where it's like some people thrive in an environment where you're kind of learning new things, and some people just want to do what they're good at.
That's true.
Which there's pros and cons to each.
Yeah.
But I get really bored really easily. Like even if I'm having fun, working, or even if it's like a video game, if it doesn't keep my interest, I'll just move on to something else.
Yeah.
But I think security is a good place where you can kind of work on so many different things that it keeps me interested for long enough to actually do something productive,
Yeah.
which is nice.
Absolutely.